Yo, what's up, everybody? It's me, that one Weeb here, back with another episode for one of my newer what ifs on the channel. This is What If Naruto Was from Krypton, Part 2. Because this what if, came out right before I did my 500 sub special for What If Naruto Was a Demigod, Part 4. Hope you guys enjoy that one, by the way. If you haven't watched it yet, go check it out. It's pretty cool. Blaze has some fun times and a lot more screen time, you could say. But let's get into the preview of what happened last time. Oh, and make sure to like, subscribe, and comment to my channel if you want to see more of my videos. Let's get right into the preview, though. Last time, Naruto was protecting his brother Hikaru, as well as helping his mom and promising to her that he would protect their family, even though dad was dead and he didn't know that his mom was going to die too. Let's get back to the point where right before Kushina seals the Nine Tails. Kushina, who's staring into her son Naruto's eyes, who's confused and doesn't understand what's going on, is then surprised to find his mother dead in his arms. Kushina's hand is on his stomach, and as she does so, she forces the Kibi with the Reaper Death Seal inside of her son, and tells him that he's sorry for making him bear this fate. Kushina is then absorbed by the Reaper, and is then taken away. Naruto holds his mom's body, and as he cries, knowing that he lost both his mom and dad, he's confused and he doesn't understand what's going on. Naruto then rushes back, holding his mom and dad and taking their bodies back to the house and laying them down. There he sees his baby brother Hikaru crying on the bed. Naruto is 3 years old and he doesn't know what's going on. He doesn't know what to do. He just cries and cries the whole night along with his baby brother. Naruto then picks up his brother and wraps him in a red blanket that they had in the house. He walks with his brother out of the house where his parents are still laying, and from there he goes to the third Hokage's office. Once he gets into the Hokage's office, he's still holding his younger brother, and this Hokage, this old man, sees a young boy walk in holding his younger sibling, and he realizes it's Minato and Kushina's son. He then asks Naruto what happened, and he couldn't find Minato or Kushina after the battle, and asks if they were okay. As soon as he says this, Naruto calmly puts his brother on the floor. He then holds his hands up to his eyes and starts crying tears. He just keeps crying and crying, and the entire room has a strange temperature change, and it gets colder. Naruto just can't seem to stop now as the tears fall out of his eyes. He blubbers and tries to explain through his crying that what happened to his mom and dad. Daddy, he tried to save me. He then went and explained to the third Hokage about how his father, Minato, had protected his younger brother and him from a scary man who his father had said was named Obito. That he didn't remember what his last name was or anything like that, but he then continued and told all of what happened at that night. He explained that his mom did some weird thing and he saw a scary demon guy, and the fox that was right there about to hurt them just disappeared, and he didn't know where it went after that. The third Hokage understands that this child is now the Nine Tails Jinchuriki. He puts his hand on Naruto's shoulder, who's still crying, and looks into his eyes, telling him everything's going to be alright. He then asks Naruto if he wants to stay together with his brother. Naruto's mouth gasps open as he had never even thought about anyone taking his brother away from him. He rushes over to this baby and picks him up and tells him he won't let anyone take him. He then looks at the third Hokage confidently and says that he'll be fine, while he says with a shaky voice. The third Hokage says that he's gonna send over someone to help raise the two of them until Naruto can take care of himself as well as his younger brother. Prove to him that he will become strong enough to not let their family get hurt. The third Hokage then sends Naruto away, and Naruto rushes out of the Hokage's office with his brother. He then bounces up and down the street, still thinking about his mom and dad and wondering if he'll ever be able to see them again. His brother's laughing, and Naruto wishes he could laugh too, but his younger brother Hikaru doesn't understand what's going on yet. He rushes back home and puts his brother down in his crib where he falls asleep after Naruto fed him. Naruto then makes himself a sandwich and he eats it, thinking about how much he wishes Mom had made some ramen for him. He then, once he thinks about Mom, starts to cry again, only for a knock to interrupt him as he's crying. Midway through, the door opens and in walks a stranger, someone with gray silver hair and one of their eyes covered with a shinobi headband. He waves to the young boy and tells him that his name is Kakashi, and that he's going to take care of them from now on until he is old enough to attend the academy. Naruto looks and sees Kakashi there as he then smiles as he remembers this man talking to his father before when he would go to his office and play there. He then tells him that he remembers him and tells him his name is Naruto Uzumaki, and that his brother over there, his name's Hikaru Uzumaki, and he better not treat both of them bad or he'll beat him up. He then tells Kakashi about everything as Kakashi asks. When he tells Kakashi what happened with the man that he had punched and sent through the forest when he was all mad about his dad being killed from him, he then explains that his dad got really upset and that he never seen him so angry before when the mask off the guy fell off. He then called him some name. What was it? Oh yeah, he tells Kakashi his name was Obito. When Kakashi hears this, his eye opens wide, and he realizes that Obito Uchiha survived the attack from long ago during the last ninja war. Kakashi then focuses and determines why Obito would be there and why he wouldn't have come back to the village. He then remembers what happened with Rin, and he sits down quietly and calmly as a somber mood fills the house from the sadness that has just happened to the Leaf Village. We're gonna fast forward another 3 years. 3 years inward, Naruto is now 6 years old, and he's a lot happier than he was back then. He still misses his mom and dad very much, but he can't remember their faces just as well, so he has to stick to pictures when he thinks of his mom and dad. Hikaru, on the other hand, is just an absolute crazy kid. He likes to pull pranks on his older brother as well as Kakashi when he's messing around. His 3-year-old younger brother is even just being a toddler, is rambunctious enough and runs around with more energy than Naruto thinks he ever could have. Naruto is going to attend the academy when he turns 12, and so Naruto then, at the age of 6, begins his training with Kakashi. Kakashi and Naruto begin training when Kakashi is trying to teach Naruto how to use hand signs. Naruto attempts to use hand signs and nothing happens, even if he does the hand signs all correctly while doing it slowly. Naruto is then explained how chakra works and how chakra you have to flow it into the hand seal to actually bend it and make it work to your will. He then tries even harder, but Naruto just can't seem to get it right. He doesn't feel anything when he tries to think of this energy that Kakashi's telling him about. Kakashi, who continually is trying, just eventually gives up and tells him to fight him without using a jutsu. At that point, Naruto nods and he tells him that he's going to go all out and that he better not hold back either. Kakashi smiles and tells him don't worry, he'll go all out against it. At that point, Naruto then rushes forward with full speed and punches Kakashi in the gut. Kakashi's mask actually begins to slip down his face as he grabs it and spit comes flying out. He then falls back and is holding his stomach in pain as a bruise begins to form. Naruto then flexes his hand and looks at Kakashi and tells him that's the same kind of punch he used against that Obito guy, and that he's pretty strong actually. Kakashi then begins to take this kid more seriously and thinks that Minato might have actually done something with him before he had been started his training with Kakashi. Kakashi and Naruto actually discover a few abilities that Naruto latently has, and Kakashi determines that this must be some sort of Kike Genkai, or some other sort of chakra-related ability. If Naruto gets extremely focused and focuses all of the energy he can into his eyes, he unlocks his first power unknown to him, that of super heat vision. Naruto then can blast things with his eyes and lasers shoot out of them, and he uses this to hit trees as well as start flames. He then he has this called as a fire style technique. Later on, when he's about 8, Hikaru is now 5 years old, and he and Naruto pretty much hang out every day. They found a nice man named Ichiraku who doesn't treat them bad, and they love to go down there together and eat food together. At that point, Kakashi is determined that he can leave Naruto and Hikaru in Naruto's hands. He then bids adieu to them and says he'll see Naruto again in a few years, maybe. Naruto smiles and says he'll keep training until the academy and become a great ninja, just like his daddy. Then, Kakashi leaves and Naruto keeps training. He then begins to start training with Hikaru. Hikaru hates training. Hikaru, who likes to have fun and play games with his older brother, is always being forced to fight against him. Naruto has to hold himself back way more against Hikaru, which he has to get used to at first, since Hikaru is strong in his own right, with his bright red hair and red eyes, just like their mom had. At that point, they discover that Hikaru has his own abilities, as Hikaru is now 8 years old, and Naruto, who, as we know, is now 11 years old. Naruto, at 11 years old, is getting ready for his last year before the academy, and he and Hikaru have been training all this time, as well as growing closer together as a bond. Hikaru, who notices how the villagers treat his older brother, gets extremely angry anytime he walks around with him. He then tells Naruto that he shouldn't be treated like that, and that he helped their mom and dad and saved the village too. Naruto then explains to him that even if they did understand that, it wouldn't matter and that they'd still treat him the same. At that point, Naruto tells Hikaru that he will just have to become the Hokage someday and change how they think about him. Hikaru then thinks of this idea and a light bulb goes off in his head. He tells him that's exactly what he's going to do. Hikaru tells his older brother Naruto that he's going to become the Hokage someday, and that he's going to change the entire way this village thinks about you and how your sacrifice was to save mom and dad and stop that big scary fox monster. Now Hikaru and Naruto have about 3 months before the exam for entering the academy. This is the point where they discover something. Hikaru has access to this odd ability where he can summon one single chain. He uses this when Naruto and him are training, and Naruto is going a bit more seriously against him. Naruto uses his ice breath, which he's discovered now after a few years of training hard, that he uses against Hikaru to freeze him up. As he's stuck there, he only can think about one thing. He needs to move and get out of there. A chain erupts out of his skin, and its glow of chakra wraps around him, breaking the ice and setting him free. He then shoots his chain towards his brother and tells him he's going to win this time for sure. Naruto, who flies up into the air trying to escape, gets grabbed by the chain, and as he does so, he falls into a vision. Naruto is in some sort of area where there seems to be a large fox creature. As he looks up towards the large red fox, the fox looks down at him and asks what he's doing there. He then tells him it's not time for him to use his power, and even if he was, he's way too weak for him to ever want to be. At that point, Naruto flies up and punches the fox in the face, telling him to get out of there, and that Hikaru for him to run. He turns around to see where his brother went, and he's not in there. The fox, who's holding his face in pain now, tells him that was a pretty good punch, but he's not going to let him treat the great Nine Tails like that. He then sweeps his hand, and Naruto is pushed back out into the real world. Hikaru is standing next to him and shaking his brother and asking if he's okay. Naruto gets up and says he had a really weird dream, and then Hikaru tells him that he saw something really weird. When he touched Naruto with his chain, he felt a scary energy coming off around him. It was the weirdest chakra he's ever seen or felt before, I guess. He then tells Naruto that he should stop training for a little while and give him some time to rest. Naruto and Hikaru go to Ichiraku Ramen to celebrate, and both of them love the ramen there. Once they're done eating, they head back home, and Hikaru falls asleep in Naruto's lap. Naruto brushes his younger brother's hair and thinks about how nice he is to him, and how if Kakashi was there, he wonders what he thinks that this is. He then is determined that the next month he's going to get into the academy, and he's going to become a great ninja, just like his parents were. If you guys want to see a part 3 for What If Naruto Was Kryptonian, then make sure to hit the like button, comment, and subscribe below. And I'll see you guys later. Bye.